Hey there, internets. This is Kyle coming to you once again. Today, I'm here to share that I've not done anything for my business today, to be quite honest, and I'm about to go to sleep because I'm tired as fuck and just want to get some sleep. So, that's my story for the day. But, nevertheless, if you're joining this video here today to learn about the My Business Lunch Secrets YouTube channel. This is my journey from $0 to $1 million and starting an online business, doing it part-time while still working a full-time day job, taking care of family. Also a landlord, by the way, so I have actually going to be going tomorrow to check up on one of my rental properties. So got a few things on my plate already, and for some reason I thought would be a great idea to start another side business that I am hoping to transform into my full-time business. But I can't just quit my job because I got responsibilities and bills to pay. So that's where we're at today. Today's Friday. Yeah, today's Friday, I guess. And so I was working. Did my annual review. The old boss man today. Kind of a dumb process, to be honest. I won't talk much about my job here on this channel as of yet, just because I still have the job and I would still like to keep that job, but there are some things that are kind of dumb about it. That's why I'm interested in looking for other opportunities. But it is a good job, and it pays well, has good benefits. And generally speaking, they treat me pretty well. And so I respect them for that. And I'm not an idiot, and I'm not going to quit my job for random things just because I want to do something different or whatever. On the sickness front, I think things are progressing a little bit better, luckily. Still got my eye things going on, like dry eyes, I guess it is. It's a really weird feeling. I've never dealt with this before, but it's like you're awake and like your body's awake and you're able to do stuff, but your eyes just want to be closed, like they feel tired and stuff. It's kind of weird sensation, but apparently that's what I have, according to my wife, who's had it before and says that's what I have. So I should deal with it accordingly, which is basically use some eye drops that you get at the old drugstore to try to lubricate your eyes or whatever it does. I don't know. And that does help a little bit, but doesn't take it away fully. So that's been most of my day dealing with that. And then my kids today found a marker and decided to write all over some of our furniture, which was awesome. Oh, parenthood, it's the best. And I'm pretty sure it's a permanent marker. And yeah, that's not gonna come out too well. So be painting some walls at some point here in the near future to deal with that. Then I show up this evening, getting home from work around, I don't know, 5:30 or something, and the kids are asleep. Which, again, for those of you that don't have kids, you might not understand, but with young kids, you typically want them to have a nap, but the nap needs to end by 4 o'clock, or else they're going to be up for frickin' ever before they want to go to bed again. So getting home at 5:30 and realizing that they're still asleep, it's not great. So I was up with them for a while and didn't get done putting them to bed until 10 o'clock, which is 2 or 3 hours past our normal routine of things. So, that is how it is. My wife and kids health-wise are still doing about the same. Still got a bit of a cough, but no fever anymore, so that's good. So they're feeling better, but not 100% either. And my wife's dealing with some pain in her tooth. Had to get a tooth extracted this week, so that's no bueno. So she's not feeling so hot either. So it's just a challenging time in our household, and I'm not saying that to say it's an excuse for not making progress in the business. I mean, I do still think it's important to try to push forward, and hence why I'm even recording this video to begin with. Because I could have just gone to bed. But at the very least, I wanted to do this because I made a promise to myself to keep this going on a daily basis. So that's what I'm trying to keep up with doing. Yeah, I guess I heard some more of, I was listening to Russell Brunson's podcast today, Marketing Secrets, and he's sort of giving a replay of an interview he did with some guy who has some podcast, which sort of covered the overall origin story of ClickFunnels and some of the ups and downs that they've been through over the early years. And I've actually seen the videos of that interview before, so I'd kind of already heard it, but always good to hear that type of thing again. And, just kind of learn that, the thing I really respect about Russell Brunson is the fact that, he seems to be a straight up guy. Like, I don't think he's lying about any of this sort of trials he's been through over his years in business. But so if you take what he says as truth, then he's dealt with some pretty bad stuff, and some things that if I were in those shoes, I probably certainly would have just called it quits and been yeah, this whole entrepreneurial thing ain't gonna work out for me. I just need to go get a job. But he stuck with it, and when things got really hard and he was down hundreds of thousands of dollars, about to go just declare bankruptcy to get out of it, he managed to figure a way to make a shit ton of money and get out of the holes that he got himself in. And he's done that repeatedly. And so I think that just kind of helps from a breaking beliefs sort of standpoint, to understand that even though the idea of starting a new business and being able to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars in revenue, sounds crazy to most of us that, again, have never done this type of thing. There's just so many stories of people who have done that and do that routinely, starting new things. So it's not this crazy impossibility outcome, but it's something that is real and something that is achievable if you're willing to put in the hard work to get there. And for myself, I have thought certainly about, in terms of, I guess, how do you make more progress? For me, obviously, if I had more time, I could make more progress, but I'm very time limited given the way I'm trying to do things by having a job and other responsibilities I have to take care of through the week. So I don't have a lot of time to commit to this, but, I've thought, well, if I just did do the crazy, dumb thing of quitting my job, my well-paying, nice benefits kind of job, and just sort of, and I don't have tons of savings or anything, so it's not we'd be fine for a year. I could just live off my savings for a year or anything. But it would be legitimate, maybe I could get by for a few months, but for various reasons. I have some other commitments, child support and other things I won't get into right now, but other commitments that I just keep my monthly expenses somewhat high-ish, relatively speaking. And it would certainly deplete any savings I did have relatively quickly. But on the flip side, you could say, well, that would be a forcing function then for me to actually buckle down and get out there and then sell some shit because, what do they say? Something about, hard times or the mother of invention or something like that. But, dealing with, if you're put in a situation where like you have no other option, like it's either you sell some shit or you're going to lose your house in a month or whatever the thing is, then, as long as you're not just a lazy son of a bitch, you don't want to do the work. I mean, there are ways to find the money and like, not just bumming off friends or family or anything like that, but I mean like legitimately getting out there, doing the work, getting people to pay you money for a service or a product or whatever the thing is. And I do believe that. But again, that's not something I want to do willingly. I mean, it's kind of something where I feel like if I were to ever get laid off, which I don't, given the line of work I do, I doubt that would be a likely outcome anytime soon anyway, unless the world just completely goes to shit, which is a possibility, but let's just assume that's not going to be the case. And plus, if the world completely goes to shit and we're talking about nuclear annihilation, then having jobs and all that obviously doesn't really matter anyway. So there are bigger problems to deal with at that point. But anyway, let's just say I were to be laid off. I mean, I do feel confident that I could, whether it's doing this whole PhD Secrets kind of membership, eventual coaching kind of business, or it was just something else. I mean, I guess probably what I would maybe do if I legitimately got laid off from my job is I would just start like a handyman business or something, because that's something, I don't know, easier for me to sell, I think. And I'm pretty good at that kind of thing. I have all the tools and capabilities that would allow me to do that. I could just start at least bringing in some kind of money. That wouldn't be like big money, but it would presumably get most of the bills paid. So there's certainly things like that would be probably immediately be able to tap into a higher demand market and offer some services to get some income. So, but I don't want to be forced into that kind of situation. I, have the ability to plan this out a little bit more strategically. And going back to what I think I was talking about yesterday with what Alex Hormozy mentioned in terms of the easiest way to build a business is to have a product that more or less kind of sells itself. You have an offer so good that people who find out about it are just going to want to buy it, and then those people that buy it are going to want to tell their friends and family about it, and their friends and family will want to buy it. So you get that natural like compounding growth from the positive word of mouth around what you're offering. And so, taking more time to sort of hone that in so you get that right before you really kind of make a big push on your advertising dollars and all that is, again, kind of his perspective on things. But again, that does take more time. It's going to take more time to figure out what that offer should be and getting all those pieces in place, I guess. So, but I was also thinking about, even though I don't know with the offer that I have put together for my membership program, if that's something that anybody's going to be interested in. I mean, it's kind of targeted towards a relatively niche audience, which is good in a way. But if that niche audience just doesn't really care about it, then I will have to find a different audience or tweak the offer accordingly to fit what my niche market is looking for. I do feel though like I have a little bit of a leg up because I hear about so many other people. I mean, there was some people on this podcast, because they asked for like questions from the audience, and so some people would get up and ask Russell Brunson some questions about whatever, and the interviewer asked them like what they were doing in their business, and they would say something like, I'm like, there's this one lady who said like, I'm a mother who's starting a business, and I want to help other mothers who are starting businesses. Like, I guess, how do you manage it in terms of your time, raising kids and trying to start an online business. But again, our point was like, I'm just starting this, but I want to help other people. I want to be a coach to other people who are doing this. I'm like, what? Like, how is that? How did you think that was going to be a good idea? Like, you're just like maybe like 2 weeks ahead of somebody doing something in terms of starting this online business. So yeah, maybe like a couple things, but like you're like far from being an expert in terms of understanding the ins and outs of what a mother could potentially have to deal with in starting a business. So I mean, that would seem to me to be a pretty hard sell to somebody, again, unless she's already worked with like 10 people and really helped them. Obviously that she could have good testimonials, but so I feel like I kind of have a leg up on people like that who are sort of approaching it as like, oh, well, let me just, spend a few weeks learning something, and then I'm just going to try to sell my time or sell these info products to somebody else, teaching them what I did just over the past month or something. Obviously I'm trying to tap into like, hey, I'm sorry, that's my dog over here. Tapping into more like 15 to 20 years of experience working and being a professional, etc. And like, that's what I'm basing my product offering around, is my 20 years experience, more or less, of professional development kind of stuff, I guess. So in that sense, it gives me more confidence, I guess you could say, knowing that I at least don't have to get over the barrier of people wondering like why I'm trying to sell my knowledge or my expertise, because I do have significant years of experience. I mean, I'm obviously not like retired and can say I've been doing this for 50 years or something, but still like 10, 15, 20 years experience. I mean, that's not nothing. So that's kind of what I'm banking on, I guess, is the point. So I feel a little better about what I'm doing overall there. I am still a little concerned on the whole, can I afford to really scale this thing? Because as I've pointed out in past videos, I'm currently planning, to sort of roll out a relatively pretty low ticket kind of introduction offer to get people into my membership. But that introduction offer, I'll more or less break even on the cost of the product that I'm delivering for the price of the people I'm asking people to pay, not even counting the cost to acquire that customer, which again, I don't really have any good frame of reference for how much that's going to be if I'm doing like paid advertisements. And so that's, again, maybe where I am going to just have to rely more on organic traffic through my podcast / YouTube channel once I get that off and running. Which, again, that's another thing where, well, if I'm going to have to rely on that sort of traffic flow, I mean, that's not something that's going to happen quickly. So that's going to take, months and many podcast episodes, or, and YouTube videos and various other pieces of content out there in the world before I think anybody would naturally kind of find me and, sort of start following me and then realize, or then be interested in wanting to purchase something from me, right? But I don't know, maybe that's what I'll have to do, because if it's something like, oh, well, it's going to cost me $50 to acquire a new customer through paid advertising, well, it's like $50 I'll basically be out of pocket, at least for the first month or two, assuming they can they would stick around for my membership. Sure, I would recoup that over time, but I have to, I have to float all that out-of-pocket expense, again, for some number of months. And just my current financial situation, I just don't have, again, like a pocket of cash. I can just afford to float, 10 or 20 grand worth of those costs to really get this thing rolling. So anyway, those are just some of the challenges I've been thinking through. And as you may have noticed, I do a lot of mental gymnastics because I'm a rational thinker type, being an engineer, I guess, or something. But all these things are what I sort of constantly processing in my brain all the time, even when I'm working my day job and these sorts of things. So in any case, that's where I'm at today. I know I need to make more progress than what I've been making. I recognize that. And, there are excuses, but there's no real excuses. So the only thing that matters is moving the ball forward. So I'll continue to do better each and every day. So from that, hope you're kicking ass, taking names, and I'll see you next time. Peace.